Hello, and welcome back to this week's episode of Talking Skritt. I'm your host, John, better known as Dale. Around the X-Men, we have a fantastic show for you. Some issues with WvW and living story spoilers and discussion at the end. Don't worry, we'll give people plenty of notice and much more. But first, let me introduce you to my fellow host. He streams over on Twitch where he answers the age-old question, has some of the community events given him that PvP itch? Say hello to Age.
So a certain thing we'll talk about, and I have to admit, it kind of gave me an itch. I'm not gonna lie. Damn it. But yeah.
Awesome. And she writes and streams for MMORPG.com. With the early WvW Reset, was she one of the ones caught up in a uproar? Huh? Say hello to Robin.
I missed all of that, so no. Yay.
Oh. You just have not, ever since we've come back, you just haven't been roaring.
I know.
Come on, Annette. Give her something to roar. No, I'm kidding. All right. And you can find her on Twitch telling her thoughts on Twitter or even her own website, kitthetraveler.com. We have been going all over Tyria, but what we really need right now is Traveler. Say hello to Kit.
Hello.
All right, let us jump right into it. So, not a lot of news this week, but we've like we said in the beginning, we've always said we're trying to do this weekly, we'll kind of deliver what we have, but we will at the end talk living story spoilers. The heads up, watching this live, or if you ever tend to try to watch us live, we do update the title and stuff like that. So if you're ever watching and it will say spoiler when we're doing spoilers, so fear not. But yeah, let us jump right into it. So this past week, I believe it happened on early Tuesday or something. Apparently, WvW was reset, but only for the North American servers. So EU was not affected. But yeah, they just sent out tweets apologizing for the inconvenience and all that stuff. And people were asking the question, will this affect the, it tends to reset on Fridays, but they did say that reset will still occur. Luckily, pip progression was not affected, but scores and stuff were reset, of course. So.
They didn't say why that happened,
No,
did they?
I know some people were asking. I tried to look. I did not see any reply afterwards stating what.
They've been having some hiccups the last couple of weeks, it seems, with servers and rewinding.
Yeah.
And
like somebody got in there and started moving around some cables,
makes me
being
curious if maybe they're doing, obviously, because we have the expansion coming up, and it sounded like someone set up for the EU. They actually transferred the server hosting, I guess, to another server company. So I'm just curious if maybe they're prepping for the next expansion, obviously, slowly and just kind of in the background coding, and maybe there's bumps going along the way, and this is what's happening.
They're clearly testing for the alliance system.
Yeah, I mean, there could be that too.
No, but I think if they are changing servers, that could make sense. I know that they use different services for different systems, so maybe one of them reset the timer or something.
And it does suck that the pandemic's going on, so there's still people at home, and obviously a lot of companies are working from home, so it might be just harder to kind of quickly go hit the button and fix it instead of
yeah, kind of
scattering around your house.
Saying is could be just limited maintenance due to the quarantine.
Yep.
Yeah.
It just sucks that it's mostly EU that's getting affected.
Right.
Well, this time around it wasn't. So hey, balance.
Well, but EU got everything rolled back. So
yeah.
Oh, they did. Oh no, previously.
Yeah,
previously, not this time.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people were making that comment of oh, what are we getting for compensation? I'm like, really?
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Maybe they are working on something, because if they happen for EU and then they prepped for it to not happen for NA.
Right.
NA,
it's possible. And then just something accidentally got overlooked and they still had a hiccup with World versus World, just not
Yeah,
the
and
entire
big time,
thing.
especially being at home. You can't just
Mhm.
quickly go reach. You have to probably call someone, and then and it's got to be like a telephone game because there's no way unless they have the server boxes at their homes too, which that'd be a little weird. And
That would be
dangerous.
amazing. All right, we're working from home. Everybody take a server with you.
That's not how
A cat unplugs the cord.
That's
what
totally how it works, Age.
Wouldn't that be great to hear? It's like, all of them are like, you have like Bobby Stein being like, I get Blackgate, and then like Tom Abernathy's like, I get Yak Spend, I get this. Like, they're all like
fighting over who wants Henge Darabi. Somebody take Henge.
Not it. Okay, we'll just leave it here. It'll be fine. Oh, poor Henge.
Sorry.
Yeah, server stuff.
Just in case, I don't think that's what happened. So
it's 100% what happened.
But
yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, they didn't really reveal any information on what the cause was. Maybe they haven't fully even solved it yet. But
or like it could always be like going out on a limb, like something that somebody exploited or did something that caused an issue that they just don't want to publicize that for a variety of reasons.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Someone changed the date.
Any other thoughts on this reset thing? I mean, do you guys think we should get compensation? I mean,
No. I don't even think the whole when the EU thing should have happened. I think,
like,
if anything, they should have just gave back the reverse stuff to the people, but
as much as
they
they
double
could.
it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, leave it be. But
like, I would feel more like there would be some compensation if like everybody's characters in World versus World had lost progression and stuff like that. That would be a bigger deal.
Or maybe like a Worldly Rolled booster or something if they felt that bad. But like, I mean, I don't know. To me, it was just Worldly Rolled. It wasn't everything, even though it does suck.
Well, and it's like Arlie's saying, even like it doesn't even sound like it was your characters. It was the server matching stuff. Like your pips were fine.
Because you said the pips were fine. So that's character wise. It was just the score and then the server change, and that is still going to change on Friday. So the only thing I can see affecting is maybe like matchups in the future, but that shouldn't affect the I mean, what's the difference? You're still facing each other.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's fine overall.
I don't know. They're going to have more hiccups. It's obviously the future I see, just because until they get back into the office. And I just think people have a weird mindset of like, if it's broken, what can I get for free? Give it to me.
Right.
Well, like some chat is bringing up what I've seen other people say is like, because people are writing it off like, oh, it's just World World. But it's not like we said. I think it would be a bigger issue if it was character progression itself.
Yeah, because I Worldly World, and I know Age Worldly World, so it's not like we are like... Yeah, and Arlie, yep, I remember that. She brought up that she was actually having fun a week ago.
Yeah,
but it's like... It's just like... I just think personally, if it didn't affect your pips, then it's not a big deal.
Yeah, because especially because this isn't like I can understand if like there was a World Reward tournament ever returning. Hint, come on, ain't it?
Right.
Like, then I would understand. It's like, okay, that's kind of a big deal for like maybe point scoring and stuff like that. However they would do it, but like chat saying, match standing at this point just doesn't mean anything, which is the only thing that got affected.
Right. If we had tournaments and this is going on then, yes. I could see a little problem because that's unfair and that's like weird match manipulation stuff going on. But this is just basic Worldly Rolled, nothing's going on. I don't see a problem with it. If you want, maybe do a Worldly Rolled boost where everyone like a double XP like that they were doing like with the Worldly Rolled track bar or something. I don't know. Like if they really want to please them.
Oh, and chat saying it only affects the people you get matched with next. Which, I mean, granted, if it was a consistent thing, then I could see it would be an issue, because then but it was a one-time thing that happened a couple, it just basically split a week.
Better knock on wood now. You might have jinxed it. It might happen again.
Oh,
well,
right. Or you trying to say
what I wonder is, since I'm just getting back into World versus World, and I'm not involved with how everything works in it anymore, is do people actually care about who they're matched up with? Is that a thing that,
I mean, as long as I'm not teamed up with College and Fear.
I mean, there's probably some guilds out there, especially for GVGers and stuff like that, or people who are just wanting to face one another and planning on to, maybe, but I don't see it being that big of a... I would only see it being a big deal if literally it was tournaments or something again, because that's just a weird system to get screwed over on.
Yeah. I think the other thing is that people are kind of spoiled with Guild Wars too, because hiccups like this in general are so rare that it comes as a complete surprise when something like this happens.
Yeah, it's kind of like what chat's bringing up, and it's having even kind of downtime or anything like that, we don't have really maintenance. It's there's a new build, your downtime is literally how fast you can download it and get back in.
Yep.
Yeah, almost as surprising as a new raid release. I mean, yeah, that's...
I mean, they happen. You expect them to happen sometimes. We just never exactly know when they're going to happen until they happen.
Mm-hmm. But any other thoughts on the reset for NA World v World? I was like, can we bleed this for any little bit more content? I don't think so. I'm surprised we got this much. But yeah, that's the only thing from ArenaNet news. Yeah, from ArenaNet news related. So I mean, besides Gem Store, but we've talked about how you like what you like. It's if you want it in game, gold to gems. If you want to swipe your card, there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have next up Community Corner, and two pretty cool events occurring. One actually occurring, part of it is occurring right now if you're watching live. If you're actually watching this on YouTube the day it released, the last part will be happening hopefully right around this time, so you could be catching it, and that is the Masters of the Arena. And this is just a tidbit of the trailer they did, because I urge you, first off, it's hosted by Mighty Teapot, I'm sure everybody's familiar with. I don't know if it's still occurring, because I know it started at least right around noon Eastern today. I don't know if it's right now when we go live. It's usually 4. Don't know if it's still...
Yeah, it goes pretty long.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure. But yeah, so you should be okay. It is still going on right now. That's what I thought. I know so basically it was the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th. So if you are watching this on YouTube, you can actually catch the finals going up, and that'll be at twitch.tv/Mighty Teapot. And if you're watching this portion, maybe you're not a native English speaker, or don't speak English very well, they do have different language Twitch streamers also doing it, so it's covering a lot of bases. But I only wanted to do a clip of this because this was actually done by Noxy, who I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with doing some of their YouTube videos and whatnot. But yeah, they did an excellent job on this, and I just wanted to do this little bit. But if you want to check it out, I'll put the links will be in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. But if I urge people to give the view to the video, it's just such an excellent job. I think they even said this is the first time they were using After Effects, so for a first time, it's just whew.
Shiny. Yeah, it's really
But
well
there's
made.
their YouTube channel. I think they have a trailer of it, and also on Mighty Teapot's YouTube, there's a video of it as well.
Ew.
It's and the tournament's pretty good in and of itself, and the quality of the UI and everything. It's top notch. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't wait.
I don't know why this little clip we're showing right now, there's something about it that reminds me of Harry Potter. Like every time I see it, I've been trying to figure it out.
Maybe the what is it, that Tri-Wizard Cup thing?
Oh, maybe it's reminding me of that. Okay.
That's like one of the few Harry Potter movies I've seen. Mainly because David Tennant was in it. Spoiler.
Yeah.
Well, not a spoiler unless I explain why he was in it.
The WB logo.
It kind of does have that, like the rune thing, because they do the spinning. So yeah.
Right. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail us. I was just looking at it again, and I was like, I've got to mention this.
It's okay. You're extending time.
Yeah. No, because people were saying, I was like, oh, we don't have a long show, and every time I say that, we do like an 8-hour podcast. Yeah, so definitely check that out. Like I said, if you want to watch it live, if you're watching our release on YouTube when it went up, the final should be happening on the 7th, twitch.tv/Mighty Teapot. I think.
Does anyone know, like, what's the, I guess, like, what are the latest teams or who got knocked out so far? Is rank 55 still in there? Does anyone?
Rank 55 will definitely be in there. I didn't even watch to know that.
Right.
There could be an upset.
Yeah, you never know. Could change.
I
Maybe
mean,
that Choya group will win. I can't see what they are, but
I think they're just the question mark.
The question marks.
Yeah, but then there's Team USA and Team Dark USA, which are made up of both Abjure, or the some of the old Abjure players, like some of the top players. Like
H, do you know if like also like Helseth and all them are on here too in this one?
I didn't see Helseth. I didn't see Rom. I saw Sindranir, I saw Grimjack, I saw Moops, saw Nos, saw Toker, saw...
So that's not bad. That's
I think in total
like,
there's a $13,000 cash, like, winnings. I think they said 700,000 gold, in-game gold. I think there's an actual title, so definitely sounds like they worked with ArenaNet, like an in-game title. Permanent access to the... what's the little lodge thing in the PvP?
The PvP lounge.
That's it.
That's cool.
Yeah, nice little things for that. So hopefully we'll find out tomorrow, or like I said, if you're watching on YouTube, today. But I know I swear I saw Mighty Teapot also put up on his YouTube like the Fridays. So I think he's also putting them up. So if you do happen to miss it, do check out Mighty Teapot on YouTube, and I think he's posting those as well.
I also think the reason why ArenaNet's actually working with him a little bit better this time is because it's not, named ERP like last time.
Yeah.
So
it's because
it's more
of
appropriate.
It's the spectator system.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think they're...
And that spectator, yep.
The spectator system they used for the raid tournaments wasn't spectator mode that was designed by ArenaNet, so they couldn't support it. But for PvP, there is a spectator mode that they're using, so they could probably support it this time around.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah. But any other thoughts of Masters of the Arena?
Nope. Just good luck whoever wins. That's a lot of goodies.
Right.
And I mean, if you want to throw gold towards me, I was rooting for you from the beginning. Insert team.
Deo holds out his hand.
I mean, as a player, I deserve something. I rooted for you.
Well, I mean, if they want the publicity of us shouting them out on the podcast, upwards of dozens of people will hear your name, even though I'm sure Teapot's streaming to like thousands.
You know that meme where that little anime girl drops a coin and then asks for something? This is what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
But for me, at least, I'm not being serious. Or am I? Test me, people that are playing. Come on, test it. No. But anyway, this is me once again bleeding content from literally nothing. But yeah, so yeah, definitely check it out. And I'm glad, you know, I'm glad at least ArenaNet with a trusted partner, and as long as, because we were talking about the, you know, the elitist rating party thing, how they weren't a fan of the software that they were using so they could easily view it, but at least since this is to their liking, that they are actually supporting it, so I'm glad to see that at least. But yeah, other than that, like we said, good luck. And another event that is coming up, which you can partake in, it's a more casual event, but for a very good cause. It is the Tyria Pride March for this year, 2020. If you're familiar with Pink Day in LA and stuff like that, Gamers Giving Back, they have teamed up with Open Community. And as you can see here, on June 27th and 28th at 4 p.m. CDT, you can do a march across Tyria, spreading love and joy, basically some support of LGBTQ friends and family. So yeah, definitely check that out. And of course, we'll have links in the description. And in case chat wants it right now, you can go there. You can see the names of the people if you want to contact them. But the way they normally do it, and they explain it here, to get everybody on the same map, they're using the LFG tool and stuff like that to get everybody on the similar maps. And you know, just they're gonna have small little events, contests, prizes, you know, but definitely a fun community driven event, especially if you're maybe new to the game and just maybe want to meet some people. But
that's a cool event. Yeah.
Other thoughts? I think we've always praised like Gamers Giving Back, especially with the Pink Day in LA stuff. Like, I know from Guild Wars 1, I still remember that, you know, and Arena, it's always been forward. I think I've told the story 100 times, so I feel bad for being like,
yeah.
Who drew that picture, by the way?
It is.
Does it say? Because that is a really cool drawing. I like it.
Yeah, it was from this other post, which just in case, I'll have both linked in the description if you're watching on YouTube. But the artwork was done by Six, which they have a
SIXX.
It's just spelled SIX, but their Tumblr is Commander-Titania. So, but like I said, both the link I just posted was the one for the art, and you'll be able to see that in the description as well. So, but yeah, any other thoughts on either community event?
The parade thing you should definitely join, because devs do come out actually and walk around with people too and play around with people. And
yeah,
definitely you can make friends for sure if you haven't.
It's a good time.
Guilds that are recruiting usually around then too. So if you're looking for a new like social or activity type of guild, there's tons of that going on. There's usually games, activity, prizes.
Yep.
So it's for a good cause for overall.
I need to find. Yeah, I it's usually like I'm usually just exhausted when it comes to the weekend, but I'll try to join these. I should be joining these more often anyway. So.
Well, I know for us like, sometimes it's hard
because
I know sometimes for us it's hard because I think the 27th, of course, is when we're doing the show, so leaves us one day, and
you could do the show live there.
True.
And just kind of chat and play while you guys are doing it, and so you're still part.
I probably won't play. I think last time we tried that, it was so many spinning plates for me. I was like, I don't know what I'm,
Right.
But Yeah.
It's not. It's more like we do the show for like 2-3 hours and then we can hang out type
Yeah.
deal.
But yeah. Like I said, it's definitely a good cause just to hang out, also meet people. Definitely check it out if you can. But any final thoughts on the community events?
Oh, it's good stuff. Promoting PvP, promoting Pride. So.
All right. Well, that's it for the new stuff. So this is kind of the preemptive warning that we're going into the Living Story spoilers. Now it has been a week and a half or so. So we're still gonna do the spoiler tag and warn everybody, but I think it's been a lot of time for people to try it if they've been so inclined to.
You can get mad at us.
Yeah. Oh, they can.
I mean, you could.
That's the internet.
The internet can get mad over anything.
They'll get mad over thoughts about the story. That's it. They're not allowed to get mad at us for talking about it.
But all right. This was your warning. I've changed the title and I'm putting up the spoiler tag. So we are officially into spoiler territory. So the Living Story, we had no quarter, and it basically started off with they told you to go to Eye of the North. Ritlock meets you. You fly over to the new area, and you're met with a Char from the Flame Legion who escorts you to like this little meetup for hopefully was it parlay? So hopefully like a meeting to figure out a peaceful resolution. But knowing video games, that does not happen.
Oh. I kind of like the beginning of it just because right off the bat during the meeting, you can see different avenues of how to approach Ryland's armies type of way. So like you have Smoother who just wants to go straight up right in there. And then you have what's her name? Ash Legion. Starts with them. But anyway, she wanted to do like a sneaky approach type of deal, and it's ironically the Flame Legion was kind of like the most passive until like a certain point, but it's like it seemed like they were just watching and learning type of deal, or just like watching and just being a silent observer, which I found very interesting just because the Flame Legion's kind of just recently being brought in after like all the history. So I think that may tie into it a little bit. So it's like it feels very political in that kind of sense. So just like I found that very interesting.
I think I mentioned last week I was confused when Efron showed up. I was like, why is there Flame Legion here? What? Oh, right. I forgot. Because it'd been a while since it'd been mentioned. Like, since we did the prologue and all of that, I felt like I don't think we've done anything with any of the Flame Legion since
because
the
we
prologue.
Instantly then went to marches and it was like Norn story and then
right. So like it was weird for me for a minute getting into that, but yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's on me for forgetting about it, but I wish like there had been some more tying in of the Flame Legion and stuff before. Oh, hey, look, Flame Legion,
Right.
You didn't in the I think it was a prelude. There was a section where you had to go visit Efron first, right? And I think he talks about a little bit how they're recently just like joining in on everything. I don't know if that was optional or not. I'm trying to remember, but I remember having like a distinct discussion about with him and his kid. But again, I don't know if it was optional or not.
yeah, it's I mean, see, this is why I definitely want to go back and play once we get the voice dialogue, just because
Yep.
it is so unfortunate that these events had to happen during this time, because this was all in all a very heavy discussion, like back and forth. Like I think 2 instances were where you went and literally just had meetings. The other ones
Right.
had dialogue and also some actual action to it, but I think there was actually 2 instances worth where it's just literally go here to discuss things.
Right.
Yeah.
Like-
So, just a quick question: how do you guys feel about, if you've played through the story? How do you feel that it compares to versus other previous episodes where you had voice, or even other games where they have maybe a mix or not at all?
I definitely do miss it.
It doesn't hit the punchlines without it for sure, because this game, like, and it's weird because I played Guild Wars 1 and it's always had non-voice and voice, so that was easy to kind of just go about. But then Guild Wars 2, it's like, it's definitely, when you're used to it for so long, it's needed for certain punchlines and feelings, because there was a lot of times for like Smolder, I couldn't really care that he offed that char. Like, I was kind of like, okay, when I should had, if maybe I heard sound, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Right.
Like, it just, and same thing with like throwing the grenade down the pipe. It was like, well, I know my character's sitting here saying that's really bad. Why? I'm sitting here
Right.
like, okay, let's just throw the grenade down. Like, because I'm not having that feedback of like emotion reading those words. And I don't know. It's just, I definitely have to play it again once they put voice in, because it's not a full bad episode. It just feels like it's missing some kind of touch, and I think that's what it is for me. Wise is the voice acting.
Which kudos to the people that they find as voice actors, because
Right.
and coupled with like their direction, I'm sure they're saying this is your motivation, like blah, blah, blah.
Mentation and all that. Yeah.
So, and I like Chad saying, like, because if you kind of relate it back to like Guild Wars 1, at least with Guild Wars 1, when there was a dialogue, if it was like important dialogue, usually it put a window up, like it was like in front of your face. Because I know a lot of times, and I think we even talked about this on the show last week, was when you're talking, like I was doing it when I was streaming, it was I'd be talking, it's like, oh crap, now this person's talking and the bubble was cut off, like, and so then you start looking down to the chat box, and then you're like kind of visually missing everything, like.
And then all the grunts and groans, as much as they were ha 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 funny, they were actually more annoying to me, because it was like, if it was a serious moment, I'm hearing ooh, 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 like weird shit, and I'm just like, like, why? Just, I get it. Maybe it was their way to hold a marker so that when they put voice in, that's where the character would, person would start in. I don't know, or maybe they just wanted to fill that weird silence gap. I did watch like guild chat, and they were talking about some of it, and they even addressed themselves that they definitely leave a bigger chunk to the voice actors when it comes to their story writing, because that's what brings things to life and like in general for the game. So they know too that maybe people will see it differently when it comes in, because there was a lot of people in chat that day that were talking about the same situation of just like it hit certain marks, but then it didn't because of that.
I think the grunts and the sounds were weird in some places for me, but some places I feel like they helped, because there were some things that initially I know I would have read it differently if I hadn't heard that little like you know. So it's a hard balance, really. I miss the voices so much.
And I think that's the important. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was gonna say, I think that's the important thing, is it's not made. It wasn't ever made for that intention. So probably to make that switch over, and it's
also really funny, like comparatively, how much voiceover has become more of a thing over the years, because like there was some voiceover originally, but it wasn't used nearly to the extent it is used now.
Right.
Which it's just amazing how much that's different. And then to suddenly take that away was crazy. And one of the things I said was like, I feel like it's something they can use in their tool bag in the future for like the trailers and stuff, because honestly, not having the voiceover on the trailer for this one made everything feel way more eerie to me in the beginning if they had somebody talking about it.
Mhm.
So like, I don't know. I hope they employ it in smart ways in the future to help, like, set a feeling or whatever. But I miss the voices too.
What were we gonna say? Age
Oh,
Oh,
damn.
I
Yeah.
was.
or age? One of the two. I think it was age. So I was gonna say.
Oh, okay.
No, I was just gonna say, like, when I was like, I did the voicing for it because like I wanted to get that inflection for the story, and I kind of just matched it based on the tone of what was going on, type of deal. So if it was like, for example, we're searching for the base, right? So it's more like a normal tone. It's like, oh, this and that and this and that. But when you're going through, if you're Smoldor, he kind of has this gruff, he reminds me of Eric Cartman, honestly, because like he's just like, he's like, respect my authority.
Yeah.
I do what I want.
That should be a line at some point.
Yeah, I don't know, but like he has this personality where he barks orders, or he has like this commanding attitude. So
Oh yeah, he was getting on my nerves after that. Where he's
just
just like,
great.
Yeah, it was played like, I can't wait for the voice dialogue just to enhance
That's why,
it.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I want the voice because I feel like he felt like you're definitely going to get on your nerves and your skin. And like Ritlock obviously was just like, at this point, I'm just like, shut the hell up, basically. And that guy was like, that's an order type of thing to him. And he still had to listen. So it was just like, that's where I'm like, man, this is where I need to hear it, because like, as much as just reading it, you're also busy trying to fight your way because there's stuff going on. So I'm like, trying to pay attention and fight. And then the moments that we're standing still, it's like, okay, I can kind of understand the emotion coming from here. But oh my god, I can't wait for him because I feel like he's gonna be the main like star of the show, just because like he's trying to be in control, like trying to take over everything. And they even told him, you're not going to, but he keeps doing it.
And yeah, I guess the overarching story on this is basically we're going after Ryland and all of his stuff, and they're starting to convince other Char to leave our side to go to theirs.
I think it's more we're going after Bangar, but Ryland and his group are standing in our way. Yeah, like our target isn't really Ryland at this point. He's just, his band and everything is blocking us, and they are pulling some of our forces away to fight with them.
Yeah, he's loyal, but we're hopeful to talk to him and talk sense into him.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of the idea behind the map, is all these Char are going to their side, so we don't know who we can even trust anymore. And it's like that's like the scary part of this. And
because even what's her face, I can't think of her name, but at the end she told the one girl that she knows that she's on both sides, like kind of called her out. And then she was like, oh, well, that's because I'm basically getting inside information. Yeah. So
what's the
because she got called out when, I can't think of her name.
You're talking about Krisha?
No, Krisha was talking to another Char. It was like right at the end, and she called her out, basically.
Malice.
Yeah.
Was it Malice? Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Because she's working on both sides of the field. She said she has some of her people over there as well, and over here, which kind of confuses me, because it's like, how do you know if they're not already turned by Jormag and stuff? Because at the end, Jormag's power obviously is starting to show of like what happens when you convert to what Jormag has asked. So,
right, how
do we trust if she's telling the truth or not? And that's what I was kind of like. I was happy to see that she kind of called that out really quick, and was just like, what's the freaking deal?
Well, I guess that's my question: is did Bangar and his troops go the same direction that we're following, and we're just catching the tail end?
Yeah, and they're blocking us
essentially off. Like Bangar and the people with him have gone across that bridge.
Okay.
That's where we're trying to get to.
So I guess we're also kind of on the outskirt. Like we're kind of between the Woodland Cascade and like, because at the end there you're kind of going in back into Shiver
Right.
Peaks.
Yeah. Well, that's why like my assumption for the next update is they'll do an extension of this thing again. I don't think they'll extend the meta event more, but like this map will get bigger and the top half of it past the bridge will be something different, but the same map.
Okay. Yeah, that could easily, yeah. And it goes in with their wheelhouse of they wanted to not do new maps every single time. So
Right.
I mean, and that part bothered me too. Breakfast is like it was kind of scary to just like you get into the game and you get into that map and right away those target executed.
Oh
and
yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah, the
But I
first
think
time I saw that,
that's
I
where
was
it's like,
like, what?
Yeah,
I think
and
that's
where
good
it's like,
because
I
that really
wish there was
sets who
sound.
Bangar is. I mean, he's
Yep.
not joking
Oh no,
around.
that wasn't Bangar.
Oh,
That
It
was
wasn't
Smodar.
Smoldar. That's why I said
Smodar,
I
sorry.
can't. Yeah. Yeah,
Both
I
of them I
know.
hate,
They're both
so I
bad
just-
boys.
yeah.
They're both bad boys.
They're both very militant, my way or else.
Yeah. But overall, like when that happened, and then like they did the same thing where it was like I think it was right at the table as well. They kind of just did their thing and when we and then in the building when we blew up the I guess was it
that was
the
my one
purple
annoyance
crystal?
was because we basically get intel of a secret facility where they're designing or building like basically war research type stuff like machines and stuff. And so we get a bomb and we find like the chimney or the vent that is just in the on top of the mountain that we're in. And I understand it had to be a pointless choice, but
It sucked that it gave you that choice because I didn't want to when I first.
well, and that's the thing. And that's what irritated me was like because you basically have the choice: should we put the bomb in there? And you're with Ritlock, and if you say no, he's like, well, we have to, and he puts it in there, and then afterwards he's going to Smodar going we. I was like, whoa, no, not we.
Right. I was not part of that. Thank you.
I was ready to go in there and just wreck house if we had to, but no, you want to. But you find out that while it was a facility, like a little factory, it wasn't like it was. There was innocent people in there and stuff, so it kind of builds that whole thing of like Smodar's been using you, kind of using you to just get what they want.
Yeah, I was surprised about Smodar, like how far he went this episode. Like, I don't know if my surprise is really qualified because I feel like they've kind of hinted towards some of this before, but at the same time, I was not expecting him to go as far as he went this episode. Kind of crazy. But I mean, also when you get like crazy things like this where your whole world community and everything is fracturing against itself, it's not unusual for people to go to extremes.
Yeah.
In surprising ways. So
I did like also the fact that they brought Casimir and Logan in to kind of help Princess, and that they actually stood back and waited and didn't feel like because I know people want like, oh, this needs to be all about Char and Norn or whatever, or this needs to be that. It's nice that they kind of be like, yeah, they're here, but only if we ask them to be here, not, hey, we're forcing our way to be here.
Right.
They had respect for the culture.
Yeah. So, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I really like that Jenna sent them to help in like remembrance of the help.
I do love also that they gave Casimir credit for training the Cubs and stuff too. Because there's the part where that one guy's like, that Casimir though, and it's like, oh.
Yeah. No, that was very well done. I love that they were there to help, but they didn't like steal the show kind of thing.
But yeah, I think to kind of cap off the story, we can talk about like the ramifications because we kind of like lead it up. Like we destroyed that facility. We eventually capture one of the remaining people in so bad the names Ryland's warband.
Warband.
What's the one that's left? I wrote some of these down. Chat, help me here. Who's because it's the person we fight in the meta as well. It's
Oh goodness. Char, I've never been my favorite to remember names on, except for the main Char. So I always like suck at remembering them.
All I can think of is Vishan, who's the sniper for some reason, and I'm like, that's not right.
You mean Cinder?
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah,
Cinder?
Yeah, Cinder is the one we captured.
Cinder's, yeah.
Oh yeah, the other person's the meta one's the other person. My bad. But yeah, we capture Cinder, and we're like, let's use her
Cinder.
to use her to get Ryland back here so we can try to talk things out. And so we set up a meeting. Ryland comes in. There's some talking back and forth, and Smolder is so helpful.
Always helpful, Smolder.
Because his idea was like, no, we need to kill her, send a message to them, like I think he even says put her head on a pike type thing.
Right.
I'm ready to be like, dude, I'm about to mess you up here in a second. Like,
I know. You're not okay, dude.
Yeah. But the whole time he's like, this is stupid that we're doing this, and everybody else is like, no, we need to do this. This is a good way to go about. Hopefully we can get Ryland back on our side. And there's the back and forth, and he's kind of just like, enough, and just stabs her.
Yeah.
And everything
Which
kicks
was not
off.
okay.
Yeah.
I love Cinder. Like, she was one of my favorite characters.
Well, and I thought, like, and even Cinder said it wouldn't matter, that he wouldn't care if she did get killed, but it seemed like he did care because he ran after her. So
yeah,
they still show some, like, he's not fully changed over, and that he cares, because obviously even to his mother, he was just like, I trusted you or whatever, or so it's like,
I think
now that's going to put a dent in their relationship, obviously.
Right. I think he's just definitely cares about things. He's just doing what he believes he's supposed to do, because part of Char upbringing is you follow your warband, you do what you're told, you do follow your orders and don't question. And that was kind of the thing that Ritlock always got him in trouble, because he was always trying to go his own way on things. And Ryland definitely has the I'm not going to be like my dad kind of thing, like to prove how good he is. So even if he doesn't necessarily like what Bangar is doing, I feel like he still follows regardless, because he feels like that's what he's supposed to do,
Right.
But yeah, basically after this, that takes place, we fight some of the steel, or the Char that went with Ryland. We're fighting them, and we have to chase him, which I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Try to keep up with him. And when we basically make it to this bridge that you can also get to in the meta, during the meta, but all of a sudden we're met with just a force of Ice Brood and also Char, and what kind of looks like Char that have taken on the Ice Brood thing, and now they're referred to as the Frost Legion.
Yep.
And we basically fight like an onslaught of that, and basically as you fight that, if you're successful, basically you really don't get to kill. They kind of retreat type thing, and they retreat across that bridge that I think Arlie was referring to, of it could progress further into maybe the next story. But then you basically have to escape, because they're, I forget, I think they started doing bombing runs. Was that not it? Or I know it was there's basically explosions, and it was a lighter version, but I got like vibes of like Halo 1, where it's like the planets explode and get the heck out, like things exploding around you, and I'm like,
yeah,
then
the
you
bombing
basically
run.
retreat. And
I didn't even think about that. That was
but
damn it, Dale! No, I want to play Halo.
You can Master Chief Collection.
I
I have to say that, like, during the bombing and all of that, the sounds that are used for that is really well done. Like, it's very like doom impending kind of feeling,
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But yeah, it's so cool. Like, it's interesting that we have this, like, these aren't fully turned, like the Frost Legion. This, like, they're not fully turned, but they're utilizing it. I forget where they say it, because they say they fight differently. They're not like the mindless husks.
Yeah, they're
that
not
you
the
have.
mindless Jormag minions we've
Yeah.
had before.
So they're somewhere in between, and oh yeah, like chat saying the sound of the speakers and stuff. Yeah. Even though we didn't have voice, the audio on this was so well done. Like I said, I can't wait till we can get it all, and it's like
a nice little package.
yeah. But yeah, so they all retreat to regroup Bangar. We basically yell at Smodor for basically screwing all that up. And
Yeah,
we kind of put him in. I think everybody kind of puts him back in his place, saying, you're not Connor, which maybe that's a scary foreshadowing of maybe that's try to vie for it. But yeah, that's kind of the story in a nutshell. I mean, with spoilers abound, but I mean, I'm curious, are there any other segments in there that popped up to you guys?
It annoys me in particular that this whole thing is set up and occurs because Bangar is taking credit for destroying Drakkar, which means that he'll then be able to control Jormag. Like, that's frustrating. And because it's frustrating, it was very well executed, because that could have been done in such a way that it's like, oh, well, whatever. But I think it was really good build up to this episode of how like that lie fractures everything and causes so many issue amongst the Char.
So the doubt, it seems like now everyone's kind of like questioning, like, are they doing the right thing anymore? So it seems like the Char's morals are starting to change over time. Especially when, like I said, when they got executed, like even Ritlock was kind of, you would think he'd be used to that, but at the beginning he actually kind of was taken back too. It was kind of like, what the hell?
Yep.
But then the other Char were like, bringing him back to reality of like, this is normal type lingo. You should know better.
The way we work.
And so,
yeah.
Like chat saying,
I also,
good.
I was just gonna say, I really liked how they made it clear that Bangar's whole thing is Char first and only Char. And Ryland has kind of taken that on, and they showed that when Logan and Casimir showed up. They're like, oh, you've picked the wrong side,
Right.
It's interesting.
And do you think, like chat saying, do you think they're trying to paint Smodor in this light to maybe even set up Krisha as like vying for like getting the Connor position?
I think she'd want that.
I thought they were setting up the Ritlock, actually.
Well, it
yeah, I
seems like
couldn't see her actually.
It seems like everybody, especially after Smodor did the crap, but everybody started delegating to Krisha. So maybe it's one of those things where maybe she doesn't want to, but she feels like she's the only one that could.
Classic anime move.
Yeah, exactly. You see that all the time in like a lot of stories where it's like, it's the person that doesn't want to wield the power that needs to wield the power.
Yeah, I could see that then. And it does make sense because even in that first meeting, it's like she cared about like everyone's opinion about the situation and kind of just made an informed decision based on everyone, and then everyone kind of agreed with it. So it seems like Krisha, out of all the Char leaders, has the most pull. That's not the right word, but like most respect, I guess, out of each of the imperators and stuff like that. So
Are we going Game of Thrones season 8? Yeah, Logan's gonna become leader of the Char, just out of nowhere.
Oh my god.
He's got the sword. Or does he at this point? Who has that other sword that kind of just vanished off the face of the earth? Or off Eteria?
I thought Logan does have it now.
I know they wanted to give it to him. Did they finally give it to him and like he just...
I don't know. I could have sworn that happened at some point.
I think she has it, but I think he just doesn't use it maybe, or is it just not sure?
That's when he pulls out, he's like, boom, I'm your leader. It's like, oh, this is going to be awkward.
That wouldn't pass.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
I don't think Logan would do that either.
I don't
though.
think. Yeah, no, but
No, he was too nice and very nice, but he kept calling Krisha like by her full military name or whatever, and then she was just like, just call me Krisha, because she didn't know like that was Ritlock's, girl thing back then. So I just love that the title that he was just like very polite. It was like Untitled with her, and then she was just like, you don't have to call me that.
well, what actually I just kind of popped in my head because we're talking about Connor, and what if, because we have the now Frost Legion that's kind of going to be a broken version of whatever the Char belief structure is. I think Smolder is screwing up what we currently have as the Char culture and stuff like that. What if they do something along the lines of, we have Ritlock who has the one dragon sword. A lot of people originally complained that the legendary dagger that was replica of the Connor, people were like, oh, that ruins the lore of it. What if, since both legions that were still existent are now just showing what's wrong with them, and like the leaders aren't that great, what if, as a sign of peace and stuff like that, what if Logan eventually gives the other sword to Krisha, and there is now like co-leaders of Krisha and Ritlock, and basically whoever holds these two swords is kind of the leaders or something, and now there's a new Char,
hierarchy.
Yeah, that could maybe stem through that or something. I don't know. It just kind of popped in my head when I was like, oh yeah, people really hated the idea of the legendary
I feel like
dagger.
I'm hoping, but I'm curious if like we get to a point and we get Vanguard down, or maybe we'll see. But like if Smolder is just trying to take the place of everything, and then if it's going to cause even more of a problem on the inner side, because a lot of them aren't agreeing with his shit either. So it's like, who's really going to step up after Vanguard's dead? Like, how does that work? Is it going to be Smolder? And if so, it sounds like he's not already being liked by everyone else now.
Or at least the higher ups. I mean, we don't know about the
exactly.
But yeah, it's.
I also hope they don't like take us to the story point, and then we get to Jormag or the place that we need, get Vanguard, and then that like the parts of this Char story kind of just gets left in the dust, and we move on to the next thing, which is either expansion or whatever. Like, hopefully they finish them off. Same thing with like the Coden and the Norn. Like, I'm just hoping they're not just gonna be like, here's this is what's going on, and then bye. Like, this is what you did for part of it, and you left. Like,
right.
Because they kind of did that with Heart of Thorns and POF. Like, there's certain parts where they just kind of like dropped off.
Well, I mean, yeah, the sword is Sohothan in this, or human origin, in the sense of it was given by the gods, which is a human god, but the Char from early on they don't believe that they're gods, but they're like, what is it, beings of action. Like, this could be them showing them that they're conquering over the human type thing, so it could be a sign of, especially because the Connor, the actual the dagger itself, was supposed to represent the 4 legions. If that's getting shattered in the in this hypothetical story I threw out there, then it wouldn't be a symbol of the entire Char. I don't know what's the term for the whole, like, because I want to keep saying legion, but that's just one of them. Like, that's each sect of them.
Right.
So I was like, is there a word for the whole, or is it just the Char
that's
culture?
Why I'm curious too, because I don't really play Char and I don't know the full
I'm trying to think of if there is a term for it, of just the whole, I guess, alliance of themselves, or
I wish they would pull in.
Okay, they just referred to as the 4 high legions. Okay, yeah, and maybe that's what comes in is them bringing them in. Who knows? But
yeah, my thing is like, I know Vanguard's trying to get his own dragon. Basically, that's what we're getting the gist of. Like, it just seems like his goal is to apparently tame Jormag as a Pokemon here. But
Right.
my thing is like, is he trying to get Jormag so that we can have a war again with the chart, or what? Like, or is he just wanting
No,
his own dragon for his own joy of
so
power?
no, Banger's idea is the Char is the Char shouldn't bow down to anyone.
Right.
So
They should be dominant.
yeah, so if anyone, he's going to use that as like kind of like a weapon in case any other like race of Tyria opposes them, because the idea is that um he doesn't want to fight other Legion of the Char. That's not his goal. His goal is basically the Char should not bow down to any other race.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
It essentially gets down to like he feels threatened by the champion having control of an elder dragon, even if the champion is a char, because they're not, or commander, because they're not like loyal to the char themselves. They work with other
Mhm.
races so much. That was kind of his thing with Almora, that she abandoned her race. So like he wants to balance things a bit by having his own elder dragon to be like, you're going to come at us, we got an elder dragon too,
Right.
kind of like arming wars basically.
Yeah, because that was kind of the mentality when Aurene first grew up, and it was when we were still going after Joko, and remember we had the group of people, and they're like, oh, so you just have a dragon now, like.
Right.
Well, and that's why I thought it's like he obviously realizes we're like a dragon killer or slayer type thing. Because
Right.
he mentioned that at the beginning when we met him at the little whatever meetup that they all had before he saw Aurene. But it's just like, my thing is, what's the, besides like what H says, is like, is that the main obsession that he has, is that he just doesn't want to bow down? But my thing is, why is it seems like all the other Char are saying it sounds like he's trying to start a war again with the humans?
I think he has a distinct hatred for humans, and that's
Yeah.
just
Right.
based
So-
on the past history. Yeah.
Right.
I would not be surprised if he wants to wage war against the humans.
Yeah.
Like once
'Cause,
he
like,
gets
he
the
feels
dragon,
like
I'm
the
just curious if
treaty-
that's what's gonna happen. Or if it's
It's
gonna be dragon versus dragon, Aurene versus Jormag. Like, I don't,
Both.
you know.
I think
Although,
sorry, go ahead.
well, I was just going to say the thing that was interesting there was I remember when we talked to Aurene at the end of not the last story, but before that, she said just killing Bangar wouldn't fix things either. It wouldn't solve the problem.
So that's why I'm wondering, does she have obviously Glint's power of kind of seeing the future or supposed future?
Well,
since
she
Glint thought she saw,
mentioned
like,
she one of the things she also mentioned in that is that like being an elder dragon isn't just being like super powerful and big and stuff.
Right.
You understand what's really going on in the flow of the world, and you can see all of the threads.
because
and the
she
way
doesn't know if Jormag's a threat either. Because she even said that one episode at the end, she said that she's still trying to figure out Jormag herself as well, if she means well. So it's like,
right.
to
Like
me,
I
she don't
think
mean
she
well.
can see,
Like,
I think she can see basically like possible outcomes of various different actions, and necessarily like if we had just gone and killed Vanguard, then it might have led to even a worse outcome because other things that could have happened.
Yeah,
it's not just a simple solution.
Because when we've had those visions previously, wasn't that when we touched Aurene or something? Like she gave us a vision, like when it showed, in the other living stories where it showed like all the events of like, what was it, what was the Nightfall zone map thing that was the first kingdom thing in Nightfall?
Is that?
Well, no, the one that was previously with the plague, that they kind of redid the map for. Like that was our first one where we found out it was
Korna.
oh.
There's Istan, Korna, Vabi.
Well, yeah, but it was the first. It was right before the plague thing. See, I don't remember the, because it gave us. Oh, God.
Are you thinking fact?
I was gonna say, are you thinking of her brother? Because her brother also gave A vision.
Did he give us the vision? I'm trying to think because it showed it basically showed this was the precursor to Joko and stuff like that, where we found that inquest lab inside that one, those portals that were open.
Oh, yeah, it was Corna then.
Was it no? Oh, what? It is right outside of Istan, but it's like that first kingdom that in Guild Wars 1 you learned was taken out by the plague. Oh, I don't even know what to look for.
I
have no idea what you're talking about.
Everyone, start digging up on Wiki. Let's
Hold
go.
on, I'm looking
Whoever
up,
had the plague.
Oh, the ruins of Foreigner. Foreigner, the first city the first city. I know it was first something. I couldn't think of it. I was like, but remember we went in there and like because we got that vision and it was that the woman like I remember speculating on the woman that was like undead looking and a lot of people thought maybe it was like Gwen or something or the mysterious person. Yeah, thank you. Finally. But because it was a lot just to get to the point of didn't Aurene give us that vision? Like, so she does have these like, and yeah, she even played out the idea of like we wouldn't be able to defeat Balthazar. She played out all those different scenarios like so.
Right.
So yeah, she has some kind of power, unless when she Elder Dragoned up, she lost it. But that would be weird.
No, I don't think she's lost it, but I think it's gotten to it's a wider scope now. Like she can see outcomes for everything as opposed to just certain things.
So why don't we
which
spend
is
like
why she was kind of wheeling on it.
Why don't we spend a week and be like, Aurene, tell us all the bad ones. Like, how can we?
It's probably more than our little brains can hold.
What if she's just like, hey, when you have to go here, don't. Like, just say that. Like,
just don't.
Trust me on this.
It could be like with Doctor Strange. If he told us, then it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, she absorbs all the other dragons' powers, so each one has their own like unique ability. So I'm pretty sure, like as Arlene's saying, it's more of a wider thing as time goes on, as she's taking everyone's power. Because before it was just like a select few things, now more. I think as she's older, she's learning how to do her abilities and learn her dragon ways.
And kind of when we were talking more about this stuff, I mean, I got a theory, but any other thoughts on? What'd you say?
You heard me. I see you smiling.
No, you kind of cut out. I heard Abbat, and I'm assuming you said Abaddon.
Yeah.
I mean, while it could lead there, I mean, everything leads back to him. We all know that. He's the last end game,
He's the original Elder Dragon and God. He's both.
Yep. He's the only guy that didn't disappear. We didn't, like everyone else went off to a vacation apparently.
Don't
Where
give him
is
hope,
Abaddon?
please.
Well, now we'll be here for the next 8 hours.
Maybe Abaddon is secretly Vanguard or Smolder. Like, we don't know. Abaddon can be many faces.
I mean, that's kind of the interesting thing. Now, this is where my theory goes to. Because originally I thought maybe this was what's affecting Bangar and stuff going through this area. But what if it's what's affecting Smolder and making him go even more crazy? Is there's something interesting about this area, and we if you think of the Woodland Cascades, though. Thanks, Tavik. If you go to the Woodland Cascades, we kind of saw this with the raid. I am bad with names. Bastion of the Penitent. I almost said
Yeah.
Pentium. I was like, I know that's wrong. But with Deimos, he apparently he's like a demon, but not like it was awkward type like. But he kind of extrapolates and like the biggest fears of whoever he was torturing at the time, which was Saul. So it was a lot of his issues that he had, but also in the area in Guild Wars 1, especially right where we're at in the, which was the Verdant Cascade in Guild Wars 1. We had a dungeon that was Dredging the Depths, where there was another demon type thing at the bottom named Zoldark the Unholy. And basically the story behind that was the Stone Summit dwarves were digging in there, and basically I remember the one dialogue that I really think was interesting in the when you pick up the quest for it. A dredge slave basically tells you, you must listen. We were not forced to dig for gold or gems. These dwarves want something far more valuable than mere ore, and they will continue to mine despite your small victory. They are obsessed with, or perhaps possessed by, a malignant force that lies beneath. It promises power, but only delivers pain and suffering. And it turns out to be this demon thing, at least from what. So what if there is another entity that has this like kind of like tempting powers like the dragons have, that's maybe even affecting. Originally, like I said, my theory was maybe it was like, what if it's Smodor's being affected, and that's why his char aren't getting fully infected by
Abba 2.
I love it.
This
But
is kind of like some World of Warcraft stuff, where secretly Abaddon's getting powered up by all these people. He's waiting to be released and free.
Oh, if that's it, we'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's gonna be like, I was right. I was right all along.
I think I've said this before. If that happens, that next episode, I'm gonna be the most insufferable person. And I'm just warning people now. I will have like a shirt being like, I was right.
Yep.
I knew it all along.
He'll be on comms with you guys at some point, just talking privately, and he's gonna be like, "Hey guys, I was right," and I'll just let you know.
Someone
And
else
you're
will
gonna
have
be
to host, because I will have the biggest grin on my face the whole time of I was right.
And like years later, you'll be like, "Remember when I was right about that thing?"
It'll be like out of the blue too. You won't even be talking about the subject. It'll just be like, "Yeah,
We're
that's
on
right."
Guild Wars 8. Leave it alone. But I was right.
And I'll be right again too.
And we're still dealing with him. He's been dead since Guild Wars 4. Leave it. He even said, I'm never returning again. See you later. And they made a point in the dialogue. Now we're going off the deep end.
Yeah.
Yeah, now.
No.
But yeah, it's just weird that there's this other force in the Woodland Cascade that is kind of vying for power, and I think
it could also just be Jormeg, like in how strong Jormeg is.
But true, but with Deimos, I think they even said he was kind of feeding on that struggle and turmoil, and it seems like that's what the Zoldark the Unholy was kind of doing by enslaving the dredge with the Stone Summit dwarves, and they were trying to find their power. So it almost feels like there's these kind of demon type things that are feeding on turmoil, which, I mean, what's happening here? Smodor, we were like, hey, we're having this peace deal, and he literally just goes and stabs someone.
With the guy who's from, I think it's like the History Channel, but he's like a meme, and he has like crazy stuck-up hair.
Yeah, they use that as my AFK image.
Where it's like, it's Abaddon, like, where he's like, it's aliens type thing. It's like,
I mean, to be fair, I'm not saying this one's directly Abaddon. We're a couple, I can get it there, but, But, I don't know. I just think it's these other. I think it might be the plot twist of something that it's just weird that it's in this area and it's such a. Thanks, Age. I mean, to be fair, Age, that's the most right you've ever been. I'm just gonna say that right now. No, I'm kidding. But I don't know. That I just feel like it's such a weird place that we're at, like, especially because we've, like we were saying before, even though it was Char related, it just feels like we were in this area over here, and then we just jumped over there for whatever reason.
Right.
So I don't know. For me, it feels like there's a reason why we had to go that way.
I mean, it's good to think outside the box overall. I'm not doubting that, if he could be around or not. But overall, like, it's nice to think that there's more than just dragons, because at this point, we don't have any other kind of baddies against us. So, white mantles were kind of dealt with. The bandits are kind of still around from what they said, but they're kind of dealt with. So it's like, maybe there's someone else lingering around.
Did Age fully vanish from his thing? It was the power of Abaddon.
He is now that guy that says Abaddon.
Wait, does that mean there's two Deos on the show now? Like...
Yeah. That's the power of Abaddon. But like I said, I just think it's interesting that they took us that way when, we have people like that shaman who does the map overlay and things like that, and it's in that area of another instance that we have where this undead demon type thing is promising power and stuff like that. And I do think it's weird that it's so similar, because I was wondering what you were saying, Kit, where it was like, is it somehow feeding off of the energy of Jormag that's been there and it's developed that power, or
because I mean we obviously have a next expansion, so there's obviously a big baddie coming soon. It'll either A, be Jormag, or B, Vanguard, or because why would we go into Kanta? So unless Bubbles or Steve, whoever you want to call it, is going to start, maybe he's feeding off all this power, or she, because dragons don't have sex really, but what if Bubbles is like sitting there, because they did say overall dragons are, they take each other's powers over time when they're dying, and that's what happened in like the latest one. So maybe Bubbles is chilling there with all this power from all the latest dragons, just like Aurene and the other one is, and then, Bubbles comes out to play, and that's, maybe Jormag knows Bubbles is, stirring the waters, because Jormag is also kind of messing around in the water/ice area, so maybe they have some kind of thing. But that's what I'm saying. Like, there has to be some kind of connection to bring us over to Kanta for sure. I wouldn't see it be Vanguard, because why would Vanguard kind of go over to Kanta? So either we're going to finish Vanguard here, or it's going to kind of like lead up to that plot of that. And then it's like, would we be facing Jormag over Kanta? Also, why? Because Jormag's already here in our, area of Tyria. So someone has to bring us over there. Why would we be going to Kanta? Because, it's kind of like why did we go to the Nightfall area right now was because Krakatorrik. Krakatorrik kind of brought us over to there. So same thing with Heart of Thorns. Brought us over there. So I'm just curious. I don't doubt your theory of Abaddon, but I also wonder, like, who will be the next villain after this and why, and if Bubbles might come out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I kind of agree with Chad. I would like to see, what if Kanthan became like a Lovecraftian type thing with. So I was also thinking, if you weren't here for pre-show, you definitely had to show up, because I was like, we call the underwater or the deep sea dragon Bubbles. They really came a little early. They really came a little early with the bubble tea promo. They should have waited till we got to the bubbles.
That'd be perfect time.
But we do know Bubbles' actual name starts with an S. That's been confirmed.
Right. And that's why I'm just in my opinion, I think that one's like, it feels like all the dragons are coming out to play now. And it's
Yeah.
gonna get to a point where it's like, is this one gonna be nice between the two that are left right now with us, or is they're just sitting there absorbing everyone's power, and then they're gonna be like, "Hi, surprise," and then like knock things around, especially because wasn't it Cantha? They have the Jade Sea, they have all that stuff going on over there.
Well,
I
don't know.
Tengu.
I'll say I don't know about by now. Shouldn't the Jade Sea be thawing?
Well,
most
and
of it?
isn't the Emperor there right now currently like someone bad? Like, or
Last we
was something
knew
like something.
from Guild Wars Beyond, we basically put a xenophobic emperor in power, and
Yeah.
that's why he drove.
Good job.
Yeah, he basically drove out the. He drove out, as far as I know, most of the Tengu. So
Right. So unless Tengu have their own kind of boss, which would be what, that person, would we be seeing that person as the next bad guy? I kind of think meh. I mean, I could see them as like a mini boss, kind of like how they did with the White Mantle with Codicus, but I wouldn't see that as the main boss. It feels like definitely Steve or Bubbles is going to be coming around, because they seem to lean on the dragons a lot right now as the main
Well, and
villains
also
or storytelling at the moment.
there was that quote from Mo, I forget who he was talking to, where they asked him if you could sum up what Guild Wars 2 is in a word, what would it be? And he said dragons. So, like, everything's about the dragons.
Mm-hmm. And maybe like this is what they need to do to finish off all the dragons before Guild Wars 3 comes out. I don't know. Like, it's like Guild Wars 1 was more about, gods,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in Guild Wars 2, it's about mostly off and on bad guys. They're not too crazy. We did have Joko revisit us and stuff like that. But it's like the baddies were kind of like here and there. But the main baddies so far have been dragons, except for Oreen. But like
Right.
dragons. So it's like, what happens after all the dragons are gone? Who
Also, if we
will be the
spin
villain?
up and solve the reoccurring problem of the elder dragons destroying the world and stuff in the
Yep.
cycle, will that lead us into Guild Wars 3 and that'll be something else?
Yep.
I guess no one wants peace and prosperity for all.
Nope. I
well,
guess
no, that makes it a
boring.
very boring game.
It's the power. Everyone wants that power.
Actually, that could be interesting because if we're kind of going meta on this and like out of game knowledge, it's like originally they wanted Guild Wars 2 to be about angels and demons type thing, and then they eventually went to early on it was supposed to follow like gods and demons and
Interesting.
So Diablo.
Well,
Yeah.
well, so what if we do eliminate the dragons and this thing I'm talking about of this seeping? Because there are demons in Guild Wars 2.
I mean,
am
unless
not
the
against
gods
it.
magically come back from their vacation, which Cormier sound like they ain't doing that anytime soon. Like, that's my only thing. And I mean, we're still also missing a god as well, because they didn't really say, what's her name? The Mesmer like chick. I forgot her dang name already. But like she said that she wasn't, like, they don't even know where she's at. They think she left with like the rest, but they don't know where she's at. And that was the one that had the mirror, which a lot of people are thinking that that's Queen Jenna under disguise because
Right.
of how super strong she is. Just like I think AG brought that up too a while back or whatever. So, maybe there is some gods or goddesses down on the ground, Abaddon and, other people. And maybe Queen Jenna is secretly a goddess, or, somewhere underlying doesn't know she is or something. But I don't know. It's definitely going to be interesting once all dragons come out to play, because we literally only have 3 in total left, right? Unless there's a secret one hiding somewhere in the works.
I really feel
only
like
have
it's just the
3.
6. It'd be weird if another one got pulled out of nowhere.
Right. So it's like Irene, Jormag, and Steve. So now we have to see, like, how long are they going to stretch out these 3 dragons, or at least the next 2? Are we going to have it where it's like expansion and then maybe another expansion? because after Cantha, like that's when they can either potentially grow the story on beyond what it is, or they close the books and go to Guild Wars 3 or whatever and start something else.
Also, like the whole thing I'm curious about, because one of the things heavily implied with Crocotorix is what made him so mad and bad was absorbing the magic from the different dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And now Aurene has magic from the different dragons too. Like, how is she not being corrupted by that? You know, I'm kind of curious
she
about
knows
that.
how to balance it because of her mother, because maybe, you know, and it seems like those people, I forgot their name, but the ones that like the light people, I forgot what they're called, but basically they help
golden glidey guys.
Yeah, I can't even think of their name now, but basically them, when you do the living story of, yeah, thank you. Basically, when you do the living story of walking her around, they even said that you're training her so that she understands the difference of like good and bad and stuff like that. Right. So maybe some of that training plus her mother and her brother leaving feedback kind of like helped her scope. And then like her grandfather, he even said, you know, I wasn't trying to do this all for bad. You know, he explained to her like, this is what it was, and I was fearful of my death. You know, so maybe she's learning as she's going. But I do agree, like, what happens if she can't, especially because she ain't Joko, which was like
a whole nother.
I'm not saying he's evil, but like, damn, I'm sure he was like 100% evil. So,
well, actually, I don't know if it's just because it's fresh in my mind of like you're saying, like, why isn't she being corrupt about this stuff? What if she is in a different way? Because, like I said, I don't know if it's fresh in my mind because I was watching Kind of Funny's review of Lord of the Rings movie, the original trilogy and stuff, and basically, if you remember in Fellowship of the Ring, when Frodo, like, I think even offers that high elf woman.
Galadriel.
Galadriel. I was trying to think. I was like, Gladimir? What's her name? I was like, I was somewhat close with Galadriel.
You like took Galadriel and smushed her with Bomir.
Yeah, I basically took Galadriel and put it in a ball and went, Gladimir. Almost sounds like a product.
I know.
But you know, even she says, if you give me that, it will even corrupt me. But I might be a benevolent, like, and do so much good. But you're trading one shackle for another. Like, what if that's what kind of happens to Aurene? Is like she does good, but we are still under the rule of a elder dragon, technically.
Well, like it's the old thing of like, if you're under a benevolent tyrant, is that okay?
Yeah,
like,
it might play into that. Like, oh, Gladimir's a Twitch streamer. Maybe that's why it was in my head too. So it's all coming together. Look at that.
Oh my god. Maybe she can split the magic evenly? That's interesting. That'd be an interesting thought. Like it doesn't like get all mixed up. But yeah, I'm curious because like we don't know what Jormag's real goal is. Like we have hints at it.
My one question was, do you by any chance so far has this swayed you to the voice of Jormag from the first episode where they were like, I want to help you? Like, I
trust her.
Okay. I was gonna say, did it shift you back maybe? Like,
nope. Yeah, so I think whatever the true goal is will come into play and will matter. I think like we either have to find some way to come to a truce with her and like solve things, or we're gonna have to like dispose of Jormag or force her back to sleep somehow. And like if we kill her, then what is Aurene just gonna absorb more magic? That seems like a bad plan. We don't have another dragon sitting around. Like, I don't know. I don't see clearly where this is leading to, basically, which is weird for me because a lot of times in stories, I see the end point way before we get there.
And chat's saying kind of hard to trust Jormag when she can puppeteer a corpse to talk to you. Well,
yeah.
But that's the power of an elder dragon. Aurene corrupted Kaith and create a new like that's
Good corruption.
good corruption. Oh,
Benevolent
let's go.
corruption.
I'll say let's go back to that whole like Lord of the Rings thing. It's like,
Which, by the way, where's Kate? We haven't seen her this season at all yet, right?
oh boy, last time she disappeared, she
Poor
stole an
Dory.
egg.
Right? Maybe she'll randomly show up and she's like, I got another egg. Let's absorb power.
And be like, where are you getting these eggs from?
No, she showed up for Krakatoa. They talked about it. If you go around in the Island North, the people in what are they, like the Oreen's followers or something? Like they're the white, like they wear a white or whatever. Because one of them you talked about, and they bring up that she's just like she's around, but she's like kind of doing her thing in the background. And I'm guessing it's basically like we didn't really need her for voice acting or anything, but we're gonna, you know, mildly slip in that she's still about doing her thing and like helping and stuff. So I'm guessing that's who she's running, like that crew of people.
In chat saying Keith, please volunteer.
I am curious though, because she does also have some of Oreen's power, like she transformed.
Yeah.
So like, what happens if Oreen dies? Does she get hurt again, or like how when she got spiked, she kind of was like unglowed again? Or if she can sense anything, because she can talk back and forth with Oreen as well.
Well, but I mean, we've also seen other, because what's the faction called now? That's
right.
That's what I was saying. Like, like
I don't remember what they're called.
They're like crystal something, I think. I don't know.
The crystal blossoms.
Yeah, there.
Oh, bloom.
Something like that.
Blooms. Yeah.
I was close.
I just knew they were all like wearing shiny, like glow, like.
I don't know if this is strangely horrible, but since they were dragon minions of Morgemoth, it's like almost like a twice baked potato. It's like a twice corrupted minion.
Oh goodness.
Sorry, you guys were talking about food earlier. This was supposed to be a light show.
You hit your 4 to 5 hour mark now.
I know. I jinxed myself.
Poor Age. Jesus. You know.
He's used to it by now. Look, he had the picture ready and everything. But I mean, yeah, we're kind of. I mean, we can continue this with like after show or something, but I feel like we're kind of having fun, but I don't think we're really getting anywhere. But but yeah, any other thoughts or about the story in general?
Have you guys done the strike mission yet?
Unfortunately, I have not. Sorry.
Do the strike mission.
Okay, well, what are you doing on some day? I don't know. I'm just trying to think of. I don't know. If you want us to do it so bad, come on and play with us.
Any day that's not a Wednesday or Thursday.
Well then, all I got is Wednesdays and Thursdays. But
right after the podcast or something, or on Saturday. Some Saturdays free.
True, we'll have to figure out something. But all right, before we get into before I take it to another Abaddon theory, Age, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitch and YouTube at Agent Erd. I'm just hanging out, playing games, mostly Guild Wars, a little bit of Crucible, maybe some Overwatch again. I don't know. And maybe some League of Legends every now and then. But yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. And Robin, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at Arlie82. And then also Wednesday evenings and Sunday mornings, I stream on the MMORPG.com channel, Twitch channel. Yay.
Awesome. And Kit, where can they find you?
You can find me at Kit the Traveler on Twitch and Twitter, Kit the Traveler, and the website, kitthetraveler.com. Every couple weekends of the month, I do the Traveler event for the Nicholas and Traveler Spirit. Other than that, when I do stream, I stream a little bit of variations of games right now, and that's about it. So
awesome. And you can find me at simply_Dale on Twitch and Twitter, and you probably can always hear my dogs in the background no matter when I'm streaming. But yeah, I'm trying to stream more often. Set days are usually Monday, Friday, and Sunday. And then usually if Malfanis streams Wednesdays on this very Twitch channel, twitch.tv/madrealms, 2 A's in the mad. Sometimes it's usually Guild Wars 2. If it's usually that, I'll probably be in there hanging out and probably joining in. So but if you are just popping in at the very end, do stick around. We do a bit of an after show. We do highlight this on our Twitch, which, like I said, twitch.tv/madrealms. If you want to watch it in full, you can also go to our YouTube, youtube.com/madrealms. And that goes up on Sundays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And yeah, I think we also have our audio version of our podcast. You can definitely pick that up on our website, madrealms.com. And I think that covers everything. So thank you all for sticking around, joining in on the conversation, and we'll see everybody next time and in the game. Good night, everybody.
Bye.